Welcome in the latest episode of the Bet and Pit Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Real_G Warner. Thank you for those of you that are here live. Decided last minute, since we didn't get an episode out last night, just go live now that lineups are coming out for the final day of the Spanish La Liga. The plan is, if you like what you're seeing, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Hit the follow or subscribe button on YouTube at the Real_G Warner. Of course, hit the Twitter account at the Real_G Warner, patreon.com/Real_G Warner. But today's, depending where you're watching this from, episode, we're going to go through the entire card, Spanish La Liga, with lineups, which is really hard to do because they don't have every match starting at the same time every single week of the season. But we do have that now, and I think it's what we'll hopefully do is set a precedent for us going forward with this. Maybe we'll do this tomorrow for the final day of the English Premier League season as well. And of course, try to do that more down the stretch, potentially World Cup things and all this sort of stuff. I think I'm going to still download and post this episode, even though it'll be clearly stale because all the games will be over. But just maybe a way to do this moving forward. So let's start. I guess this is the first time I'm looking at lines, so I made all my numbers. So we're going to do some live reactions based on the La Liga table and things like that. If you have comments, feel free to throw them in here. And I will try to show them. There's my own, just to make sure this all works. Testing. And then, of course, any interactions, feel free. We're speaking just La Liga today, though. So let's keep it to Spain. I'm wearing a Hetafe kit, and let's get into it right now. So we'll start in first matchup on the list, and that is Celta de Vigo hosting Sevilla. Currently, Celta are a half a goal favorite right now at home. And let's see if I don't think I've already moved these numbers. Okay, actually, I have. So this is not my first rodeo. Sorry, not my first time looking at the numbers, but it will be the first time looking at the numbers and the table. So let me rephrase. So Celta de Vigo are a half a goal favorite right now, juice -110 both ways. Total in this matchup is 2.5. Juice very heavily to under -130 at BetOnline. All lines quoted courtesy BetOnline. They're really good for saving juice on English Premier League numbers, not so much on La Liga, but still better than you get for most of the marketplace. Plus, it's a great spot if you want openers across all sports. Hockey playoffs, of course, Major League Baseball, definitely. I use those a lot. So if you're interested, hit me up at the Real_G Warner across any social media platform, and I'll get you a referral code. Also, if you're interested in sportsbetting.ag, their sister site, you haven't been at either of those sites, they'll give you a sign-up bonus, which you don't really get at many places anymore. Back to the matter at hand. So Celta de Vigo are a much better team out of nowhere than Sevilla. Sevilla clearly had some of the best run of history in the Europa League and all those sort of things, but it's been really bad since then. Currently, Sevilla are in 13th position on 43 points. They are relatively safe because Girona could tie them. Girona sitting on 40 points in 18th position. Sevilla on 43 points technically could be tied, and then there's a lot of head-to-head factors and things of that nature. So I don't know necessarily that I love the scenarios that are going through here. It probably wouldn't be my decision to decide that you're staying in the league based on 2 random match days over the season, but I guess it does keep teams playing against each other. It makes things matter, and I guess head-to-head, it might be better than silly goal differential, to be frank. So regardless, we can not debate the what goes forward and how Spain decides to do their things. They're also very obstinate and like to copyright claim things against me all the time, which is hilarious. But Sevilla, they are almost safe, but a point will get them to safety. Celta de Vigo, meanwhile, are in 6th position, a Europa League position. They are 3 points ahead of Hetafe, 6 points behind Real Betis. So they don't really have much of a match to play here. They are, I guess they could be caught by Hetafe, and depending on head-to-head numbers, that could be a problem. But at the same time, I think that there's a good chance that they're kind of just going through the motions. Yes, Celta de Vigo have been really strong this season, specifically in Europa League, a lot because of their depth, which does certainly toll in a match like this one, where even if you're playing your backups, they're still a lot better than most other teams' backups because you've done a lot to build the team like that. But of course, as I knocked the iPad off the screen, gonna have to leave the screen for one moment to pick that up, but we'll be back in a second. Regardless, I think we got an opportunity potentially to find Sevilla playing for something and Celta de Vigo not playing for something as a favorite, and that is exactly what I'm looking to bet against or bet into the last couple weeks of the season. So let's now check some lineups. Let's do that on this. Yeah, like Sevilla, I mean, they're not good. They have not played well this season, but they have something to play for here, and Celta de Vigo arguably do not. In terms of the lineups, so we do have one out already. We have from Celta, we have Rueda, Rodriguez, Lago, Marcos Alonso, Sergio Carrera, the back three with two wing backs, plus Elias Moriba, y Fer Lopez, Borja Iglesias, William Swedberg, and Iago Aspas, who might be coming to the end of his career with Celta, which probably will matter. And Celta will be there. Crowd will be there. They've done a lot to add to their stadium. That helps. From a Sevilla perspective, we have Nyland in goal, which is different than Vlachodimos, Odysseus Vlachodimos, who's been starting there for a very long time. I don't know that I love that. That certainly does maybe indicate that there's either a switch in the mind of Luis Garcia Plaza or maybe this game doesn't matter as much as I'm thinking based on the table. So let's see. Sevilla, Girona FC matchup so far this season. So Sevilla has a head-to-head because they've already won 2-0 on the road at Girona and then drew. So I guess they are safe. And that means Girona cannot catch them and they cannot be caught by anybody else. So that does change things a little bit, actually. Now we're doing some math. Yeah, nobody else because Sevilla are on 43 points. Mallorca are on 39, so they can't catch them. So Sevilla are safe. And that does change things a little bit. So this game doesn't matter for anybody, is what it sounds like. And that's a concern. All of a sudden, the really rigid defense turns into not so rigid. And we'll go through the lineup anyway. So we have Nyland in goal. We have Carmona at right back. Azpilicueta, as everyone knows from Chelsea, right center back. Quique Salas, Gabriel Squatho, Pique Fernandez, Ogume, who's probably more defensive midfielder, and then Gibril So, who's a great player, I think, and will star this summer for Switzerland. Oso is playing a lot of left back this season, playing left wing. Isaac Romero at center forward, and Alexis Sanchez right wing. Just trying to add increase the average age for that roster. I still like Sevilla getting a half of a goal, like the under as well. I think Celta de Vigo's defense has been stellar this season, especially away from home. They're at home in this situation, so it's a little bit different. But still, I think there's an edge to a team that even if neither have anything to play for, I do like underdogs that scenario as well. It's not the perfect situation that we're hoping for, but lean to Sevilla getting half of a goal and under 2.5 at the moment, under 2.25 also of interest because I don't mind selling that juice to potentially get a better outcome. Next, we'll go to Espanyol, and they are hosting Real Sociedad. Currently, Espanyol, a half a goal favorite. That has climbed from a pick'em earlier this week to a quarter goal, which is probably a more accurate number, and now is a very juiced half a goal underdog, our Real Sociedad, who've not played well since their winning of the DFB Pokal, or excuse me, the Spanish Copa del Rey. Wow. German football, always on the mind. Total on this one is 2.5. She's very heavily to over, probably some 2 or 3/4 out there. And let's look at the table. So Espanyol currently sitting in 11th position on 45 points. They are exactly tied with Real Sociedad on points. They could get up to Getafe on 48, but they have Rayo, Valencia, and Real Sociedad ahead of them. And Espanyol, most importantly, are safe. And Manolo Gonzalez hopefully will be back another season because I love him. I think he's great, and he's a great player, manager to bet. Since Real Sociedad are already locked in Europa League, they have nothing to play for either. Kind of a dead rubber on this one, I got to say, and that does limit my interest, to say the least. Oops, there we go. So we are live. Let's see. Now let's go back to our numbers. So I guess I have some interest in Real Sociedad. They've not been playing well. This is probably a skip for me, especially with 40 minutes left to go. Let's get to the next game on the list. That's Girona hosting Elche. Currently, Girona a half a goal favorite right now with all the juice, which is actually coming down a little bit. We saw a fair amount of money on Girona to start this week. A little bit, I guess. It hasn't really moved too much. And then Elche money's been buying back or grabbing back the plus money. Total this one's 2.5, juiced very heavily to over, plus 120 to under. So 2 3/4 is probably a more realistic number. In terms of the table, so Girona, as I already mentioned, are in the final relegation spot on 40 points. They are 2 points behind Elche. So if they win this match, they will be safe. They also are 2 points behind Osasuna, 2 points behind Levante, 3 points behind Alaves, and 3 points behind Sevilla, but they can't catch them because they lose a head-to-head. Then again, if there are 3-way tiebreakers and things, then that's a little bit concerning. I don't know exactly how that will do. La Liga tiebreakers. Let's see that. If 2 or more teams finish level on points, the final league standings are determined sequentially by these rules. First order looks strictly at the points accumulated in the matches between the tied teams. 2 teams tied the teams have more points to do head-to-head matches, finishes higher. More than 2 teams tied. Mini league is formed using only the results from the games played among the tied teams. That makes me think that there's a possibility that Sevilla they win the head-to-head against Girona, but they don't necessarily against a mini league of teams. So that does look interesting to me. There are ties. If there's if the head-to-head points are equal, the tie is broken by the goal difference in the head-to-head matches. Okay, so an overall goal difference, overall goals scored, fair play, disciplinary record. That'd be crazy if that was what decided relegation. But I guess maybe we shouldn't take so many yellow cards. Looking at you, entire league. I think so that brings them now back to Sevilla, looking a little. They have a lot more to play for, considering they're 1 point ahead of Levante, Osasuna, and Elche, who can all tie them if they get. Well, I guess if those teams draw and Sevilla lose, then Girona getting a win, and I guess Elche won't be in there, but Osasuna and Levante could be. So that gives me more interest in Sevilla here, though the change in goalkeeper does leave me a little bit puzzled. As for this matchup, so Elche have not scored any goals away from home this season. They're a promoted side, weren't expected to stay up really, as no promoted teams are in any league at this point for me. But they've been started the year off really well, going after the ball, wanting to possess it, and wanting to control games. I love that strategy. It seemed like it was a little bit naive, but it worked really well to start the season. Got a lot worse as the season went through. But for me, I like the endeavor, and I like that they're going to go on the road and try to keep Girona out of their net by possessing the ball. That's, to me, the best way. That's better than defending, all-out defending, and I like that strategy. Girona are really talented, are much better, but they are in this position because they started the year off so poorly, really because I don't think they were prepared for the transfer window and just did a really horrible job of building a team and having to change it, and their manager having to basically figure out through a chewing gum and spit how to put the team together that's going to win football matches, because you need to win in order to survive. Not also good for Girona and a poor start to the season when everyone in the league has been picking up points, and this is like the highest point total to ever find a relegated team. So biggest interest for me is probably under 2 3/4 goals. I also lean to Elche. Less of a belief there, I guess, because it's going to be harder for them to get a draw here when Girona are going all out, and that does certainly put the total a little bit at risk end of day or end of the match for sure, with goalkeepers coming out and going up for corner kicks, but they're not going to give up. Goalkeepers are very, very competitive about trying to keep goals out of their net because that's what they get paid for. So I expect that not to be enough of a concern for me to potentially look away. So lean to Elche right now, plus 1/2 of a goal, but really prefer the under 2 3/4, and I'll be looking for a 3/4 goal underdog to pop at some point. Next, go to Alaves hosting Rayo Vallecano, currently in the table. Let's start there. Alaves up to 43 points, 3 points ahead of Girona. But as we talked about, with many teams that could be tied there, if there's a mini league, then even if they're ahead of Girona, I'm basically going to treat everyone around the relegation zone that they are playing and going all out today. From the opponent perspective, Rayo Vallecano, they are in 8th position on 47 points, can pass Getafe for the Conference League, but they have the Europa Conference League final coming up next week on Wednesday, I believe. And that's more important than anything. So I imagine there's a good chance that we see some rotation. While that's being said, I need to check the Elche lineups because I forgot to do that. And then we'll go to Rayo afterwards. So we'll start with Elche, go back a game. My bad, everyone, but doing this live for the first time, it's a little bit more difficult than you think. So Girona, they are going Gazzaniga in goal. Would be playing Ter Stegen, but he's been hurt ever since they acquired him. Gazzaniga's got big mistakes in him, but has improved after a horrible start to the season. Arnau Martinez at right back, David Lopez, Victor Raish, Alex Moreno. That's about the best backline they can have. Maybe Daley Blind would be in there. But in the defense, they have Asel Witzel. He was a great central defensive midfielder, played center back when he was at Atleti last season. I think so. Ivo Martin, another defensive midfielder, more attacking, I guess, than Witzel. And then Unahi, who's took a penalty for them recently. Up front, we have Brian Heel, Victor Sigankov, and Joao Roca. No recognized striker because they're basically don't have one. Ever since they sold Artem Dovbyk, as I spoke to their transfer issues earlier in the season, would expect that Christian Stuani to come in later in the match, as that's where they find their goals late, and I don't really trust them to score much. So under looks even better. From an Elche perspective, we have Dituro in goal. He's probably not their ideal, but he's been starting a lot lately, and I guess took the job from Iñaki Peña Torres, Barcelona loanee. And certainly Dituro has been more with the club much longer. In the back line, we have Chust, Affengruber, and Bigas. Victor Chust with a great goal in the last match day. Valera at left back, right back, Sangare. And then in the midfield, we have Aguado, Febas, Villar, which is a more normal midfield than we've seen in the past. Up front, we have Tete Morente, who's been playing wing back. I wonder if that means Sangare is going to be in a bit different of a position. And Alvaro Rodriguez. So I'm a little concerned about the attackers here for Elche. Certainly Morente in the past with Elche, and I think he left for Lecce in Serie A. I mean, definitely has some talent, can't score goals, but he's not really the two-pronged striker that they usually use with Silva and Rafa Mir, who are both on the bench. I expect them to come in if they fall behind, might even be a first-half substitution. But that's all kind of points to a low-scoring, grinded-out game because these teams are fighting for the death to stay in this division. So still there, still interested in Elche as a side also, but under I think is more interesting there. As for the lineups for Alaves and Rayo Vallecano, we'll start with Rayo just to see how much they care. So Dani Cardenas is starting, very, very capable backup goalkeeper, but is a backup. And that tells me that Batalla is probably playing in that Europa Conference League final. He's on the bench today. Right back, Bayou is their second choice. Mumin, who's okay, has some mistakes in him. Mendy also okay, has some mistakes in both athletes at center backs, but they are rotating their back line. Espino at left back, he's been playing more up the pitch lately. Again, not their number one choice. As for the midfield, we have Gumbau, Oscar Valentin, and Pablo Diaz. That's about as good as you get in the midfield. Alvaro Garcia, Randy Anteca, and some guy named Carlos Martin, right wing. I mean, this is about as rotated for Rayo as you can see, potentially. From an Alaves perspective, Sivera, then Perez, Tenalia, Koski, Parada. It's a fairly normal back line. Koski's come in and started the last couple matches. Ante Rebak at left wing or left midfielder. Garrido is the goal scorer, more central attacking midfielder, I think. And then we got Blanco, who's more of a defensive midfielder, as well as Pablo Ibanez. So that looks like a lot of midfielders in there in the center of the pitch. Lucas Boye and Tony Martinez up front. That's pretty normal. So let's move now to the next matchup on the list. I guess we'll just go back to the numbers here in this one. So Alaves are a big favorite. They should be. Rayo, So it seems like Rayo has not been getting bet this week because they're playing backups. So that makes sense. But I don't know. Let's see. Total in this one is 2.5. She's very heavily to under -135. And that I think reflects Rayo not really starting their best attackers, though their defenders have not been great either. This is a good setup for Alaves to stay in the league, I must say. And I don't think I want much to do with Rayo or under here necessarily. Though pretty much to that end, I do love unders with those two teams. 2.25 looks of interest. Rayo, I guess they want to win this to try to find a way into Conference League, but if Getafe win, they can't catch them, so that's not great. Alves, and they're going for it. So 50-50 feels like there's a lot more trying to win some trophies next week, and that's definitely beneficial to Alaves, who, I mean, will probably do everything they can to win this match 1-0. So maybe there's a little bit more interest there, I guess, on that one. We'll next go down to, speaking of, as I wear the kit, Getafe hosting Osasuna. Currently, Getafe are a pick'em at home. All the juice, minus 127. We have a plus 109 coming, excuse me, plus 107 coming back on Osasuna at Bet Online. Total in this one is 1 3/4. Very, very. And it seems like that's been getting bet a fair amount because there was a 2 earlier this week. I missed it, unfortunately. Minus 126, the first number I saw. It dipped down to plus 1.5, excuse me, under 1.5, plus 115 as we currently speak, which has been getting gobbled up. So there's not a lot of belief in goal scoring in that matchup, as there shouldn't be, because there never was. Getafe, who lost last week, but are still in position to make the Conference League, which would be great for us betting next year because we'll just go under every match they play. So you literally should every season, but just basically means we have a bunch more that we get to choose from. But on the other side, Osasuna, they're in the relegation fight. They're on 42 points. I do like them as a quarter goal underdog because I don't really trust Getafe to score. I think perfect play here would be under 2 and plus 1/4. I don't know that we'll have that combo, and I don't know that I necessarily want to play just Osasuna. They are notoriously bad away from home, really great at El Sadar and Pamplona, where they run the Bulls, but they're in a great stadium that doesn't see a lot of goals, and that certainly will help in this matchup. So I'll go Getafe, CF. Let's check out the lineups. Start with Osasuna because I think that's more important to look at. So Sergio Herrera, who's a great goal stopper and honestly a really, really good defender of penalty kicks, surprisingly. Rosier at right back, Boyomo, Catena, Erando is about as normal as a back line as you could see. Juan Cruz on the bench. Javi Galan, who's more of an offensive left back, but he's there. In the middle, we got Lucas Toro, Moncayola, and Aima Oroth, who's got Ante Budamir's picture for some reason on Google. Nice job by them, by AI. As for up top, we have Ruben Garcia and Ante Budimir. So 2 strikers up top, which seems a little bit aggressive, but I think that also reflects the maybe disinterest in offense from Getafe, I must say. So that looks of interest to me. In terms of the Getafe side, so we have Soria in goal, Niom Abakar, Duarte, Romero. So that's a fairly normal back line, especially with Dakonem Jene suspended after his red card last week, which I thought was rough, harsh, but he gets him a lot. Iglesias at left back, and now in the midfield, we have Mario Martin, Lucas Mia, Amar Barry, Liso, and up top, we have Lucas Vasquez, who Luis Vasquez, who is had some goals in him this season. I don't know that I necessarily believe in a lot of them, I must say. But Getafe, I mean, they're a really rough favorite. Yes, they're better at home. They can win those games, but they are literally, it's amazing to me that they're even in the discussion to potentially qualify for Europe at this point. But they're there. Good for them. Let's go to the next matchup on the list. And I will summarize this all end of show, of course. Thank you for those of you that are here live, especially with not a lot of notice, but I appreciate that. We'll go now to Real Betis hosting Levante. Currently, Real Betis, a pick'em right now with all the juice minus 150. Enormous. So really plus 1. So Levante is more of a quarter goal underdog around the marketplace. Total is 3 in this one. Juice very heavily to under right now. 16 of the 20 cents of juice, but actually that's climbed from initially I saw minus 125, fell all the way down to 2.5 or 2 3/4 more likely. But we're back to 3, and that reflects the Real Betis offense that's been really great this season. A Levante side have been really chugging along lately in terms of the table. So Real Betis, they celebrated Champions League a long time ago. They can't be caught. They've drifted to 5th position, but they actually had no real way to move out of that. Celta can't catch them, so they're in great position, and they're happy. I think from so they got nothing to play for. Levante on their side have three straight wins on 42 points, can be caught by both Mallorca and Girona, so they're even more in the relegation discussion than any teams we've talked about so far. But they are playing really, really well, and saw them live a few seasons ago, concede 5 goals to Sevilla. It's amazing. 5-3, I think it was. And it's amazing how far those teams have fallen. Levante down a division, came back from the Segunda this season, and looked dead for pretty much all the season. Looked like them and Real Oviedo were going down. But they've done great since then. Let's check the lineup on this one. So Levante currently starting Matthew Ryan in goal. Tolian, who's back from injury. Dela, who takes their penalties and is not great at them. Moreno, the other, is the left center back. Manu Sanchez at left back. Arriaga, Olasagasti, Martinez in the midfield. On the right wing of Tunde, on the left wing Romero, and up top we have Espy, who's been scoring 1 million goals. I mean, that is a lineup I want to back. Especially when you're looking at the Real Betis side. So they're starting Adrian at goalkeeper. Both Valles is I guess getting rested for this finale at La Cartuja, I think, in Sevilla. So not the traditional Benito San Marin, Benito, whatever. Benito Villamarin. I went to it, should remember it. But Bellerin at right back, Diego Llorente at right center back, Nathan at left center back. Ricardo Rodriguez is not the normal left back, but I guess they're getting some guys some run out, especially probably because he's likely leaving the club and certainly trying to stay in shape for the World Cup this summer. In the midfield, we have Marc Roca and Pablo Fornals, who are good attackers, but I don't really see a lot of defenders in that midfield, especially with Isco playing center midfield, taking the spot of Giovanni Lo Celso, who's a great player, but I guess they only have so many spots in that midfield. It can't go so aggressive with Lo Celso and with Isco, but we'll see how much time Isco has in his legs. I don't know necessarily that I believe so much that Real Betis care about this one. On the left wing, we have Abde Zazuli. We have Anthony on the right wing, and then up top, Cucho Hernandez, who is one of the shorter strikers in the world, I got to say. Don't have eyes on maybe the smaller leagues in South America, but no real attacking threat in the air, and I think that's a good situation for any type of because I don't really know that Levante are very tall in their center of defense, but that's a good situation. Certainly, Bakambu on the bench could come in for Real Betis and cause some problems, but I'd rather see him for 30 minutes than 90, I think, if I am Levante. Thank you for those of you coming in here. Feel free to throw in some comments, and if I see them, I will post them and then respond to them right away. We'll do a summary of what all we've covered on this episode, end of show. So we'll look forward to that, hopefully. So Levante, as a quarter goal underdog, I'm very interested in. It's going to be a tough situation for them going on the road to Betis, and Betis certainly has the players, and if they were all in for this game, it probably would be one that I would skip at this price, but that's why the price is what it is, and they're still an underdog, so I like the road draw potentially paying us out. Have some interest in under, but based on the Real Betis lineup, I think we're seeing Levante trying to score goals today as well to try to get a win. Definitely will hold on for a point late if they can, but we'll move next to Mallorca, hosting Real Oviedo. So Mallorca, who've got some American owners, put in a lot of money, and it's not looking great for them right now. They're 1-goal favorite right now at home to Real Oviedo, and that's actually, Oviedo's been seeing some money coming in today. They're +1, +105 now, or +115 last time I looked. Total is 2.5, juiced more to the over, and that reflects, I think, a team that doesn't really what does that reflect? It reflects Mallorca, who are great at home and win a lot of points there and get their victories in that building, Estadio. But they're not that talented. And usually when they're fighting for wins, they're trying to win by the skin of their teeth. Real Oviedo are down, but they, I thought, put a lot into their matches recently. Ever since coming down, they lost 4 or 5. Doesn't look great, but they are a bottom club. So what do you expect? They've literally had to do a GoFundMe just to even have players to keep their club open. So it's amazing their return, though they are going straight back to the Segunda División. As for the lineups here, and that's important for me in this one to see how much Real Oviedo cares about this one and if they're just doing a victory lap. Again, they're starting Moldovan because I think they're likely going to lose Aaron Escande to another club. So they're trying to get some mileage on him, getting ready for the Segunda División as they try to come back to top flight, the Primera División in España. Nacho Vidal, right back, is a normal starter. Bailly, who's we've seen at Villarreal and Manchester United. The right center back position hasn't been playing a ton lately, but I don't hate that rotation. Dani Calvo as left center back. Raheem Al-Hassane as the left back. That's more of an attacking left back, I got to say. As for the midfield, Fonseca Colombato seems pretty normal. Santi Cazorla starting as central attacking midfielder. Likely, I think, is retiring at the end of this season. He's old AF. Jaira at right wing. I think it's Ilias. Yeah, Ilias. He goes by Ilias, not Chheria. So that's normal. Reina at left wing. He's probably playing in the middle. I think Cazorla will be on one of the wings. And Alex Flores is the striker. I don't recognize that name much at all. Hassan's not starting. That's not great. Sibo is more of a defender. I mean, there's some rotation here for Oviedo, which I don't love seeing, considering this is their likely last time in the Primera División, because it's so tough to get promoted, even after they fall next season and get some money for it, I think, to make the landing a little bit easier. As for Mallorca, they've lost a lot of defenders. Got one sent off, I think, last match day. Las Jornadas, it's called in Spain. And they're starting Maffeo at right back, who had honestly had a really high future in the Spanish national team and was playing center back at one point last week. Valiant returns. That's very important for their back line. Mascarell is dropping back into central defense, more of a central defensive midfielder, but when needs must. Lato at left back is not their chosen, but Mojica with a ridiculous pulling the hair red card last weekend certainly did not help. In the midfield, we have Samu Costa, who's more of an attacking defensive midfielder, if that makes sense. I like him a lot. Sergi Darder is just an attacker. Morlanes, also an attacker. And up front, we have Pablo Torre on loan from Barcelona. We have Asano, who's so good in the Bundesliga, was not really come on at Mallorca at all, maybe because there are a lot better defenses there. And Vedam Marucci, the La Pirata, is going to be really important for Mallorca to score goals. And I don't really know that I love the threat for Oviedo. Like, yes, +1 is nice. I just don't know that they're going to score goals, which I think definitely points me to under. And I think that's probably the biggest interest for me in that matchup. Still going through. We got 18 minutes till kickoff, so we'll try to speed through a little of these more because we got 3 matches left to go. We'll start with Real Madrid. They are 1-goal favorite to Athletic Club Bilbao. That one's been falling. Looked like it was heading towards 1.25, but we're back to 1, which makes me think that there's a lot of disinterest in backing Real Madrid. They've been certainly just playing out the string at the end of the season, getting whistled at home like crazy. Total is listed at 3.5 right now. I think 3.25 is probably more appropriate as a number, which does, I guess, expect some offense from Athletic Club. I don't really know. We haven't seen it all year. They looked pretty bad. They dominated the game against Celta de Vigo last weekend, but fell behind early and only got a single goal. So that's never good. I think from Athletic Club's perspective, they have nothing really to play for. They're out of any sort of competition. They're in 12th position on 45 points. Could catch Getafe, but I think with tiebreakers and other things, other teams ahead of them, that's not likely to matter. And then they've also their best player, Nico Williams, is probably leaving. Their manager's gone. All those sort of things. Not really great setups. And honestly, I don't have much interest in backing them. Who knows what Real Madrid is going to put out there? And I honestly don't even feel like looking at the lineup. So in the interest of time, let's move to the next one. And let's go down to Valencia hosting Barcelona. Now, this is more of a battle. Valencia took a red card last weekend from one of their defenders. That's not great when you're hosting the best offense in La Liga champions, though Barcelona not really look like they've cared for a lot of matches of late. This one was 3.5 listed, but really 3.25 across the marketplace. That's probably still where it is. Yeah, it's probably where it should be right now, actually. So I'm going to move that back on my spreadsheet that I'm editing as we record. Probably interesting for everybody, but it's been jockeying between 3 and 3.5. And I think we see Barcelona. We'll see if they care. Let's check the lineup, because that's going to matter. Who's out there? I'm guessing Lewandowski starts because he's moving on. So Lewandowski is at striker. We'll start in the back, though. Szczesny at goalkeeper, probably trying to protect Joan Garcia for the World Cup this summer. Eric Garcia at right back. Ronald Rajo at right center back, who's been in and out of the lineup for a long time. Gerard Martin, who's playing makeshift left center back, but it's more of a left wing back, I think, or left back. Balde at left back makes sense. In the midfield, Bernal will be center defensive midfielder, I think, in the hole. With Gavi ahead of him, Dani Olmo ahead of him as well. Left wing, Rashford. Right wing, Ferran Torres. And Lewandowski up front, as said. Not seeing Pedri, that's great for Barcelona's opponent, Valencia. Guparthi is more of the top defender, I think, for that team. Andres Christensen, wow, rare to see him on the bench. Frankie de Jong there as well. I mean, there's so many riches, and definitely the substitutes will be strong. But from a Valencia perspective, we have Stola Dimitrievski. He's been in goal for a while. Unai Nunez, who's come in after an injury to Saravia. Tarega Pepelu is dropping back from center defensive midfield to left center back. That's a little bit problematic, but a lot based on the red card that was received last weekend. So not really much you can do there for Chomer, the Turkey international. Jesus Vasquez on the left is a good player. I like him. Rioja on the right, like him as well. Guido Rodriguez came over from West Ham. He's going to defend like crazy. Ugrinic has been okay for them, and Diego Lopez on the left wing, left midfield. Up top, we have Hugo Duro and Javi Guerra, and those situations, I mean, that's a decent lineup. Valencia on 46 points in 9th position. I mean, they could climb ahead of Getafe with a win. Draw doesn't get them anywhere to Europe, but they're safe, and that's very important. But I think there's a big underdog opportunity here, especially at home and against a Barcelona team that hasn't really cared for, ever since they won El Clasico and clinched their title. Last game on the list, then we'll get best bets, or I guess we'll nominate the best bets, and I'll try to do the quickest reel of all time. Let's see if we can make it happen before kickoff. But this is Villarreal. They are a pick'em right now at home to Atletico Madrid. All the juice currently on Villarreal minus 121. That number's been sticking there for pretty much the entire time I've been watching it. Total this one is down to 3 plus 117. 3.25 probably more likely out there. And what's on the line for this one? Not a lot. Both teams are already locked into Champions League positions. They're both tied on 69 nice points. And I guess there's 7 million euros at stake for finishing in 3rd position versus 4th, which matters a lot more to Villarreal, but they haven't looked like they've cared for a while now. In terms of the lineup here, let's see. Don't even have any. Great. So that's awesome. Let's go Villarreal, CF Twitter. No, I mean, this game's playing at the same time. It's literally 13 minutes away, and we still don't even have lineups. It's ridiculous. Okay, so we just don't have them. Okay. Let's go La Liga lineups and RotoWire. It's generally been a good spot for finding those. Okay, no lineups. I don't even know. So we'll just leave that one behind. I guess you could argue Villarreal worth it because they're more interested in this game, but that's sometimes hard to navigate. All right, so let's go through the card from top to bottom, Spanish La Liga. So, and these are all going to be bets that I'm going to put in the next 12 minutes and 45 seconds. Celta Vigo, I'm gonna play Sevilla, half of a goal and under 2.25. In the Espanyol Real Sociedad match, I'm going to skip. Girona Elche, I'll play Elche under 2.5 goals, 2.75 if it's out there. I would love to get 3/4 goal underdog on Elche. Lean that way as well. Alves and Rayo, looking for it under 2.25. Getafe Osasuna, I'd love to play Osasuna, the quarter goal underdog, and under 2. It's actually now we've seen a lot of late money coming in Osasuna. They're now down to a pick'em. So I think I will probably let that one likely go altogether. Levante will play them as a quarter goal underdog on the road at Betis. Oviedo, I'm probably skipping the goal scoring side of things, so I'll just play under 2.5 there. Athletic Bilbao will skip. Valencia, I do like also at home as a half of a goal underdog to Barcelona. And Villarreal, I'll lean to pick them, but it's going to be digging for lineups for the next 11 minutes. As for my best bet on this episode, let us go to that Girona Elche match. Let's go under 2.75 goals for Girona hosting Elche. Big battle at the bottom. I think we see a very, very low scoring total. Thank you. Those of you that came in here live, really appreciate that. If you want to see more of these, hit me up at @real_G Warner. Leave some 5-star reviews, comments, all those sort of things. If you want to join Patreon, patreon.com/real_G Warner, so you're not missing out some great Major League Baseball plays, a really hot run in the Western Conference Finals, to say the least, also Eastern Conference Finals too. We got some games tonight in hockey, and looking forward to a great World Cup coming end of season. Thanks for all tuning in. Talk to you all soon.